Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. A woman's soul is one of the most powerful forces on this earth. It carries life, nurtures dreams, and withstands storms that many never see. But what happens when the soul of a woman is wounded? When pain has buried her joy, when betrayal has stolen her trust, when rejection has made her doubt her own worth. Some wounds are visible, but the deepest ones are carried in silence, hidden behind a smile, concealed beneath strength, yet screaming for healing. Today, I want to speak to the soul of the woman who has been told she is not enough. The one who has given her best and was still left empty. The one who has been bruised by words, by actions, by abandonment. You are not what you have been through. You are not the mistakes you have made. You are not the rejection you have faced. There is a version of you that is whole, strong, and radiant, waiting to emerge. But healing begins with truth. And the truth is, no one can define your worth but the one who created you. No man, no relationship, no situation has the authority to determine who you are. You were created with purpose, designed with intention, and filled with divine strength. Do not allow life's battles to silence your identity. Many women live in the prison of their past, replaying the pain, reliving the heartbreak, rehearsing the lies spoken over them. But hear me today, your past is not your prophecy. You have the power to break free. The first step is releasing what is no longer serving your destiny. Bitterness will not heal you. Revenge will not restore you. But forgiveness, it will unlock the chains that have held your soul captive. Forgiveness is not saying that what happened was okay. It is not excusing the pain. It is choosing to no longer be a prisoner to it. When you forgive, you do not set them free. You set yourself free. Free to breathe again. Free to love again. Free to dream again. Some of you have spent years waiting for someone to fix you. Waiting for closure. Waiting for validation. But healing does not come from another person's apology. It comes when you decide to reclaim your joy, your peace, your self-worth. The woman you were before the pain may never return, but the woman you are becoming is stronger, wiser, and more powerful. You are more than your scars, more than your brokenness. There is a warrior inside you, a queen within you, a force that cannot be defeated. You were never created to live in sorrow. You were created to rise. Today, I challenge you, rise from the ashes of your past. Rise above the lies you believed. Rise above fear, shame, and doubt. The world does not need a broken version of you. It needs the healed, whole, and empowered you. A woman's soul carries many unseen scars, each telling a story of battles fought in silence. Some wounds are caused by betrayal, when trust is shattered, leaving behind the question of whether love is safe. Others come from rejection, when the heart has been poured out only to be cast aside, making one feel unworthy. There are wounds inflicted by words, spoken in anger, carelessness, or even disguised as love, that linger in the mind, reshaping identity and self-perception. Some wounds are generational, inherited from the struggles of mothers and grandmothers, passed down as silent burdens. Others come from society, which dictates unrealistic standards of beauty, success, and worth, making many feel they are never enough. Then there are the self-inflicted wounds, the choices made from a place of pain, the guilt that follows mistakes, and the regret that lingers like a shadow. Time alone does not heal these wounds. Many women learn to function while broken, smiling while suffering, excelling in life yet struggling within. They become masters of disguise, hiding the weight of their past beneath accomplishments, relationships, or responsibilities. But ignoring pain does not erase it. It festers beneath the surface, influencing thoughts, decisions, and emotions. It manifests in fear of love, hesitation in opportunities, distrust in relationships, and even self-sabotage. True healing begins with acknowledgement. It is recognizing that pain exists, that certain experiences have shaped the way love, trust, and self-worth are perceived. It is understanding that wounds do not define identity, but they do demand attention. Healing is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of courage. A woman cannot step into her full power while carrying wounds that were never meant to be permanent. Pain is real, but so is the possibility of restoration. A woman's self-worth is the foundation of her existence, shaping the way she sees herself and how she allows others to treat her. It is not determined by circumstances, relationships, or past mistakes, but by the undeniable truth that she was created with purpose, value, and dignity. Yet too many women live unaware of their worth, seeking validation in places that only leave them empty. When self-worth is placed in the hands of others, it becomes fragile, easily broken by rejection, criticism, or comparison. Society often dictates impossible standards, measuring a woman's value by her appearance, achievements, or the opinions of others. This conditioning leads many to believe that they must earn love, prove their significance, or compete for approval. But self-worth is not something to be earned, it is something to be recognized. It is an unshakable truth that exists regardless of external validation. No rejection, failure, or loss can take away what has already been divinely established. A woman who knows her worth carries herself differently. She does not settle for relationships that diminish her, opportunities that undervalue her, or environments that drain her. She refuses to shrink to make others comfortable because she understands that she was not created to be small. She does not allow past pain to define her future, nor does she let fear dictate her choices. She stands firm in her identity, knowing that she is more than enough as she is. Embracing self-worth is not arrogance. It is an act of self-respect. It is the realization that nothing external, no title, no relationship, no achievement can complete what was already made whole. When a woman understands her worth, she stops waiting for permission to be powerful and starts living in the fullness of who she was meant to be. The past has a way of holding onto a woman's soul, whispering reminders of pain, failure, and regret. It lingers in the mind, replaying moments that should have been left behind, shaping thoughts, emotions, and even decisions. The weight of yesterday can be overwhelming, making it difficult to move forward, to trust again, to dream again. Some wounds come from betrayal, others from mistakes, and some from circumstances beyond control. Yet no matter the source, the past should never have the power to define the future. Breaking free does not mean forgetting what happened. It means refusing to be controlled by it. It means no longer allowing past disappointments to dictate present opportunities. Too often, women carry the burden of past relationships, replaying words spoken in anger, reliving rejection, and internalizing lies that were never theirs to believe. They hold on to shame, convinced that their past disqualifies them from happiness, success, or love. But the past is only a chapter. It is not the whole story. Freedom begins with a choice. A choice to let go of resentment, to release guilt, to stop reliving what cannot be changed. It requires confronting pain, acknowledging its existence, but refusing to let it define identity. It means understanding that mistakes do not determine worth and setbacks do not cancel destiny. A woman who breaks free from her past walks differently. She no longer carries the weight of yesterday, but instead embraces the possibilities of today. She stops seeking validation from people who never saw her true value. She no longer clings to what is comfortable, but chooses what is necessary for growth. The past may have shaped her, but it does not own her. She is not what happened to her. She is what she chooses to become. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts a woman can embrace. Yet it is often the most difficult. When wounds run deep, when trust has been shattered, and when the pain feels too great, forgiveness can seem impossible. Many hold on to anger as a form of protection, believing that releasing it would mean excusing the harm done. But forgiveness is not about justifying the wrong. It is about setting the soul free from the prison of bitterness. Unforgiveness does not punish the one who caused the hurt. It punishes the heart that carries it. It becomes a heavy chain, tying emotions, thoughts, and even destiny to the pain of the past. It manifests in relationships, in self-worth, and in decisions, influencing them in ways that may not even be recognized. Resentment does not heal wounds, it deepens them. The longer it is held, the more it poisons peace, stealing joy, and blocking the ability to love fully. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean restoring broken relationships or trusting someone who has not changed. It means refusing to allow past pain to have power over the present. It is a personal decision to reclaim emotional and spiritual freedom. Forgiveness is not a weakness. It is a strength. It takes courage to release what was meant to destroy. It takes strength to choose healing over hurt, peace over resentment, and wholeness over brokenness. There are wounds inflicted by others, and then there are wounds inflicted by self, blame. Many women struggle not only with forgiving those who hurt them, but also with forgiving themselves. But no mistake, no wrong decision, no past failure is beyond redemption. True healing begins when forgiveness is extended both outwardly and inwardly, allowing the soul to breathe again, to hope again, and to be free. A woman's identity is not defined by her circumstances, past experiences, or the labels placed upon her by others. It is rooted in something far greater, her divine design, her purpose, and the value she carries within. Too many women go through life unaware of who they truly are, shaped by the expectations of society, relationships, and painful experiences. When identity is placed in external things, it becomes fragile, shifting with every rejection, failure, or criticism. But when a woman embraces her divine identity, she stands unshaken, knowing that her worth is not up for debate. Recognizing divine identity means understanding that worth is not earned, it is inherent. A woman is not valuable because of her success, beauty, or the approval of others. She is valuable simply because she exists. She was created with intention, crafted with purpose, and filled with the power to impact the world around her. No failure, mistake, or loss can take away what was already placed within her from the beginning. Embracing identity also means rejecting every false belief that has been spoken over her. The lies that say she is not enough, that she is too broken, that she will never rise above her past. These have no power unless they are believed. A woman who knows who she is no longer seeks validation in the wrong places. She no longer allows comparison to steal her confidence. She walks with authority, knowing that she was not created to live small, but to shine. Living in divine identity is not about arrogance. It is about alignment. It is stepping into the fullness of who she was always meant to be, walking in confidence, grace, and strength. It is living with the certainty that she is chosen, loved, and enough exactly as she is. Renewal is the process of transformation, the shedding of the old to make way for something greater. A woman who embraces renewal refuses to be trapped by past experiences, limiting beliefs, or broken identities. She understands that just as the seasons change, so too can her life, her mindset, and her spirit. Renewal is not about erasing the past. It is about rising from it with greater wisdom, strength, and clarity. It is about allowing pain to become a teacher rather than a prison. True renewal begins in the mind. Every thought shapes reality, and too often women live bound by thoughts that do not serve them. Fear, doubt, and self-criticism become the voices that dictate decisions, relationships, and dreams. But renewal demands a shift in perspective. Choosing to believe in possibilities instead of limitations, in hope instead of stagnation, in hope instead of despair. It is replacing destructive thoughts with truth, allowing the mind to be filled with wisdom, confidence, and faith. Renewal also requires release. A woman cannot step into her new season while holding on to things that were never meant to go with her, whether it is toxic relationships, unhealthy habits, or past failures. Letting go is an essential part of transformation. Holding on to what no longer serves her only delays what is meant for her. Renewal means surrendering what is broken so that something whole can take its place. A renewed woman radiates strength and purpose. She no longer seeks validation from the world because she has found it within herself. She walks with a fresh sense of vision, embracing change rather than fearing it. She understands that renewal is not a one-time event, but a continuous journey, one that leads to growth, freedom, and the fullness of her destiny. Wholeness is not about perfection, it is about alignment, being at peace with oneself, free from the wounds of the past, and fully embracing the present. A woman walking in wholeness is not defined by what has happened to her, but by the strength she has gained through it. She no longer seeks external validation to feel complete because she understands that her worth has never been dependent on others. Wholeness is the ability to stand confidently, knowing that nothing is missing, nothing is broken, and nothing is lacking within her. Walking in wholeness means living with emotional freedom. Many women carry unspoken pain, suppressing emotions in an attempt to appear strong. But true strength is not found in denial. It is found in healing. A whole woman acknowledges her past without allowing it to dictate her future. She no longer reacts to life from a place of brokenness, but responds from a place of wisdom. She loves without fear, embraces opportunities without hesitation, and refuses to allow past disappointments to shape her expectations. Wholeness also requires self-love. It is choosing to nurture the mind, body, and spirit, recognizing that she cannot pour from an empty cup. It is setting boundaries that protect her peace, surrounding herself with people who uplift her, and engaging in practices that renew her soul. A whole woman does not compromise her values for acceptance. She stands firm in her truth. A woman walking in wholeness radiates a presence that inspires others. She is no longer controlled by fear, regret, or insecurity. She moves with clarity, grace, and confidence, embracing her life fully. She understands that wholeness is not about waiting for someone or something to complete her. It is about stepping into the fullness of who she was always meant to be. Healing the soul of a woman is not about erasing the past, but about rising from it with power, wisdom, and grace. It is about breaking free from the chains of pain, rejection, and fear to walk boldly in purpose and self-worth. Every wound, every tear, every battle has shaped her, but they do not define her. What defines her is the strength she carries, the love she embraces, and the destiny she refuses to abandon. She is not a victim of her past. She is a victor over it. She is not bound by what was. She is stepping into what will be. No longer will she shrink to fit into spaces too small for her greatness. No longer will she wait for permission to shine. The time for healing is now. The time to walk in wholeness is now. She was created for more, and she will rise. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so grateful you have joined me today. And I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. Life is full of relationships. And relationships come with the potential for both joy and pain. But the mark of a true man is not in how he avoids pain, but in how he handles it. When a woman wounds you, whether through betrayal, words, neglect, or rejection, the way you respond will determine whether you rise in strength or sink in bitterness. You must first understand that hurt people hurt people. The woman who caused you pain may not even realize the depth of her actions, or perhaps she is operating from her own brokenness. If you focus only on the offense, you will miss the greater lesson. You are not called to be a victim of your emotions. You are called to master them. A wise man does not allow another person's actions to dictate his character. When you choose to forgive, you are not excusing the hurt. You are releasing yourself from its grip. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the highest form of power. It means you refuse to allow bitterness to take root in your heart. A man who holds on to pain cannot walk in purpose, for his vision will always be blurred by resentment. But forgiveness does not mean foolishness. A man must know when to set boundaries. If someone continuously disrespects you, love yourself enough to create space. Love is not slavery to someone else's dysfunction. You are called to lead, and leadership requires discernment. Above all, learn from the experience. Every disappointment carries wisdom, and every wound can be a stepping stone to greater maturity. Do not let pain define you. Let it refine you. The greatest men in history were shaped not by comfort, but by the way they overcame hardship. Pain is never without a cause. When a woman hurts you, it is easy to focus only on the wound and react from a place of frustration or anger. But true wisdom calls for deeper understanding. The pain you feel did not emerge from nowhere. It has a source, and that source must be recognized before you can truly heal. Many times people inflict pain on others, not because they desire to do so, but because they themselves are dealing with unresolved wounds. A woman who betrays, disrespects, or rejects you may be responding from her own history of pain, fear, or insecurity. She may not even be fully aware of the depth of harm she has caused because she is caught in her own emotional struggles. Hurt people hurt people. This is a reality that must not be ignored. If a woman speaks words that cut deep, those words often stem from something within her, perhaps childhood wounds, past relationship scars, or internal conflicts that she has not yet resolved. If she betrays trust, it could be a reflection of her own brokenness rather than a statement about your worth. Understanding this does not mean excusing bad behavior, but it allows you to respond with wisdom rather than reacting in a way that brings further damage to yourself. Another source of pain is misplaced expectations. Many men enter relationships with the belief that love should always be smooth, that commitment guarantees perfection, or that their efforts will always be reciprocated. When reality does not align with those expectations, disappointment turns into pain. But pain is often the result of expecting something from another person that they were never capable of giving in the first place. Recognizing this helps to shift the perspective from blame to understanding. Pain also comes from personal insecurities that are triggered by another person's actions. If rejection feels unbearable, it may be revealing an internal wound that existed long before the woman ever arrived in your life. Sometimes the hurt you feel is magnified by deeper struggles within yourself. Doubts, fears, or unresolved emotions that need attention. Understanding the true source of pain allows you to heal, grow, and move forward with clarity and strength. Emotions are powerful forces that can either build a man up or tear him down. When a woman hurts you, the natural response is to react. Anger, frustration, sadness, or even the desire for revenge may rise within you. But the true measure of a man is not found in how he reacts in moments of pain, but in how he masters his emotions and responds with wisdom. A man who is controlled by his emotions is like a city without walls, vulnerable, exposed, and easily manipulated by the actions of others. The ability to master emotions begins with self-awareness. You must first acknowledge what you feel instead of denying or suppressing it. If you are angry, recognize it. If you are hurt, accept it. But do not let those emotions dictate your decisions. Feelings are temporary, but the consequences of emotional reactions can be permanent. Words spoken in anger, decisions made in pain, and actions taken in frustration often lead to regret. Instead of allowing emotions to rule, take a step back, breathe, and assess the situation with a clear mind. A man who masters his emotions understands that no one should have the power to control his peace. If a woman's actions dictate your state of mind, she holds more power over you than she should. Emotional mastery means maintaining inner stability regardless of external circumstances. It means refusing to be provoked into irrational behavior, refusing to let pain turn into bitterness, and refusing to let disappointment destroy your sense of purpose. Self-control is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate display of strength. It takes greater power to remain calm in the face of offense than to explode in anger. Strength is found in the ability to channel emotions in a constructive way, transforming pain into wisdom, anger into discipline, and disappointment into growth. Instead of reacting impulsively, take time to reflect. Instead of seeking revenge, seek clarity. Instead of allowing emotions to cloud your judgment, use them as a tool to understand yourself better. A man who masters his emotions is a man who cannot be broken, because his strength does not come from what happens to him, but from the discipline within him. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood principles of strength. Many believe that to forgive is to surrender, to accept defeat, or to allow wrongdoing to go unpunished. But in reality, forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. It is a demonstration of power. It is the ability to release pain, resentment, and bitterness so that they no longer control your life. A man who cannot forgive is a man who remains chained to the very thing that hurt him. He may believe he is holding the other person accountable by holding on to anger, but in truth, he is only imprisoning himself. When a woman wounds you, whether through betrayal, rejection, or disrespect, the natural inclination is to hold on to the pain and demand justice in some form. But unforgiveness does not bring justice. It prolongs suffering. It keeps the wound open, allowing it to fester and infect every area of life. A man consumed by bitterness loses sight of his vision, his peace, and his purpose. He carries the weight of past offenses, allowing them to shape his future decisions and relationships. But when he chooses to forgive, he reclaims his power. He refuses to be defined by the actions of another. He releases himself from the burden of resentment and steps into emotional freedom. Forgiveness does not mean excusing bad behavior or allowing toxic people to remain in your life. It does not mean trusting someone who has proven untrustworthy. Rather, it is the conscious decision to let go of the grip that pain has over you. It is saying, I will not allow what you did to control how I live. It is choosing peace over prolonged suffering, wisdom over emotional bondage, and freedom over the chains of past hurt. A man who forgives is a man who understands his worth. He knows that his destiny is too great to be hindered by old wounds. He knows that strength is found not in revenge, but in the ability to move forward with clarity and confidence. True power is not in holding on to pain, but in rising above it. Forgiveness is not surrender, it is victory. Pain is an inevitable part of life, but it should never become the foundation of a man's identity. When a woman hurts you, whether through betrayal, rejection, or disappointment, the pain can feel overwhelming. It can shake your confidence, challenge your sense of worth, and make you question everything you believed. But pain is an experience, not an identity. What happens to you is not who you are. The greatest mistake a man can make is allowing pain to shape his self-perception and dictate his future. Many men, after experiencing deep emotional wounds, build walls around their hearts. They begin to see themselves through the lens of what was done to them. If they were betrayed, they start believing that no one can be trusted. If they were rejected, they assume they are not good enough. If they were disrespected, they begin to doubt their own value. This is how pain begins to redefine a person, turning them into someone who no longer believes in love, purpose, or personal growth. But the truth is, pain is a teacher, not a master. It comes to teach lessons, to build resilience, and to refine character. But it was never meant to control or define. A man who refuses to be defined by pain chooses to see himself beyond the hurt. He acknowledges the experience, learns from it, and then moves forward with strength. He does not allow one painful chapter to become the entire story of his life. He understands that every great man in history has faced suffering, but what made them great was their ability to rise above it. Pain can either make a man bitter or make him better. The choice is his. The process of healing requires a conscious decision to shift focus. Instead of dwelling on what was lost, a man must focus on what remains and what is yet to come. Instead of replaying the past, he must embrace the future with hope. Pain will pass, but the strength gained from overcoming it will last forever. A man who refuses to let pain define him is a man who cannot be broken. Boundaries are essential for any man who values his peace, self-respect, and purpose. When a woman hurts you, the way you respond determines whether the pain will shape you or strengthen you. Many believe that love means tolerating anything, but wisdom teaches that love must also include self-respect. Setting boundaries is not about shutting people out. It is about ensuring that relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding. A man who does not establish clear boundaries will always find himself at the mercy of others' actions and emotions. A boundary is a standard you set for how you allow yourself to be treated. It is an invisible line that defines what is acceptable and what is not. When a woman disrespects you, manipulates you, or continuously causes you pain, wisdom requires that you communicate your boundaries clearly. This is not done in anger or revenge, but with firm conviction. You do not need to argue or beg for respect. You simply enforce your standards through your actions. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, they are showing you who they are, and it is your responsibility to decide how much access they have to your life. Many men struggle with setting boundaries because they fear losing the person they care about. But a love that demands the sacrifice of your dignity is not love. It is control. True relationships thrive when both individuals understand each other's limits and honor them. A woman who genuinely values you will respect your boundaries, and one who refuses to acknowledge them is revealing a lack of regard for your well-being. Boundaries also protect your emotional and mental health. They keep you from being drained by toxic relationships and ensure that you maintain focus on your goals. A man with weak boundaries is easily swayed by manipulation, guilt, and emotional games. But a man who sets clear limits commands respect, not through force, but through self-discipline. Wisdom is knowing when to walk away, when to speak up, and when to stand firm. The ability to set boundaries is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself and refusing to settle for anything less than what aligns with your values. Life is a journey of experiences, and every experience carries a lesson. When a woman hurts you, it is easy to dwell on the pain, replaying the events in your mind, questioning what went wrong or wishing things had turned out differently. But wisdom teaches that pain is not meant to be a permanent dwelling place. It is meant to be a passage. The difference between a man who remains stuck in his wounds and a man who rises stronger is his ability to learn, grow, and move forward. Learning from pain requires honest reflection. It is not about blaming yourself or the other person, but about asking the right questions. What did this experience teach you about yourself? What patterns were revealed in the relationship? Did you ignore red flags? Were there areas where you needed to set stronger boundaries? Pain has a way of exposing weaknesses, but it also provides an opportunity to strengthen them. A man who learns from his experiences does not see failure, he sees lessons that shape his future decisions. Growth happens when knowledge turns into action. It is not enough to recognize what went wrong, you must apply the wisdom gained. Growth may mean healing from emotional wounds so that past pain does not dictate future relationships. It may mean improving your communication, understanding yourself better, or becoming more intentional in who you allow into your life. A man who grows from his pain does not repeat the same mistakes. He evolves, matures, and becomes wiser in his approach to love and relationships. Moving forward is the final step, and it requires a decision. Holding on to past hurt, resentment, or regrets only delays progress. Moving forward does not mean forgetting. It means refusing to let the past hold you captive. It means embracing the present and future with an open heart and a clear mind. Every great man has faced setbacks, disappointments, and heartbreaks. But what made them great was their ability to rise stronger and wiser than before. Growth is not about escaping pain. It is about transforming it into something that propels you toward a greater version of yourself. Purpose is the foundation of a man's life. It is what gives direction, meaning, and strength in times of adversity. When a woman hurts you, it is easy to become distracted, allowing pain to consume your thoughts and emotions. Many men lose themselves in heartbreak, abandoning their vision, neglecting their goals, and drifting into a cycle of regret and frustration. But a man who understands his purpose refuses to let temporary pain derail his permanent calling. He knows that his life is bigger than any single relationship, and his mission must remain his priority. Pain has a way of clouding judgment, making it seem as though nothing else matters. It can trick the mind into thinking that healing will only come from resolving the situation or winning back what was lost. But purpose demands focus, and focus requires discipline. A man must remind himself that he had a vision before he was hurt, and that his destiny does not change because of disappointment. If anything, pain should fuel a greater determination to succeed. Staying true to purpose means refusing to be defined by setbacks. A man on a mission does not allow heartbreak to weaken his drive. Instead, he channels his energy into growth, self-improvement, and the pursuit of his goals. Pain, when used correctly, becomes a powerful motivator. It sharpens focus, builds resilience, and deepens wisdom. Some of the greatest achievements in history were born from moments of deep pain, where men chose to rise above their emotions and stay committed to their vision. A man's purpose is not just about career or success. It is about becoming who he was created to be. It is about living with integrity, growing in wisdom, and impacting the world in a meaningful way. When emotions try to pull him off course, he must remind himself that temporary feelings do not deserve permanent decisions. True strength is found in the ability to keep moving forward, even when the heart is heavy. A man who stays true to his purpose not only overcomes pain, but transforms it into a stepping stone toward his destiny. Pain is inevitable, but allowing it to define you is a choice. When a woman hurts you, you have two paths. Let the pain consume you, or use it as fuel to grow, evolve, and strengthen your purpose. A man who masters his emotions, forgives with wisdom, sets boundaries with confidence, and refuses to be broken by betrayal is a man who cannot be stopped. Your worth is not determined by who stays or who leaves, but by the greatness within you that no one can take away. Stand firm in your identity, rise above the hurt, and walk forward with clarity and strength. The past does not define you, your response to it does. Keep moving forward, because your destiny is far greater than your pain. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. A hug is more than just a gesture. It is a language, a message, a silent conversation between two souls. When a man embraces you, he is saying something, whether he speaks or not. The question is, do you know how to listen? You see, not every hug is born out of love. Not every embrace is filled with sincerity. Some hugs are mere reflexes of politeness, while others are whispers of deep, unspoken emotions. A hug can be a refuge or a trap. It can be a covering or a disguise. That is why discernment is necessary. A man's embrace is a reflection of his heart. A true, sincere hug carries warmth, safety, and protection. It speaks of a man's character. A man who hugs with honor is a man who understands that his touch is sacred. But a man who hugs with selfish intent sees it only as an opportunity for personal gain. You must know the difference. A fleeting hug, a casual embrace, these may mean nothing, but a hug that lingers, a hug that holds weight, speaks volumes. It says, I see you, I value you, I honor you. And in that moment, you can assume that there is something deeper than words at play. But hear me clearly, not every hug is a commitment. Not every embrace is a promise. Some men hug because they want something, not because they are giving something. And if you are not careful, you will mistake physical closeness for emotional connection. You will assume depth where there is only deception. A wise woman does not get carried away by a simple touch. She does not build expectations on a moment of warmth. Instead, she watches, she listens, she discerns. She knows when a hug is real and when it is just an illusion. So the next time a man embraces you, ask yourself, what is he saying without words? What does his character reveal? Is this an embrace of honor or a touch of convenience? Because at the end of the day, a hug is not just a hug, it is a message. And it is up to you to interpret it wisely. A hug is more than just the meeting of two bodies. It is the silent language of the heart. It is a bridge between emotions, an unspoken conversation that can carry depth beyond what words can express. When a man gives a hug, he is not merely offering physical contact. He is communicating something deeper, whether intentionally or unintentionally. There is a reason why a hug can bring comfort in sorrow, warmth in loneliness, and reassurance in moments of doubt. It has the power to transfer emotions without a single word being spoken. A sincere embrace can calm an anxious heart, make a person feel seen, and provide a sense of security. It is not the touch itself, but the meaning behind it that holds value. The way a man hugs you says more about his heart than his words ever could. A quick, distant hug may reflect politeness, but no real connection, while a strong, intentional embrace can reveal care, protection, or even love. Some hugs are filled with sincerity, while others carry hidden motives. A man who values and respects you will embrace you with honor, not with an agenda. Every hug carries energy. A forced or insincere hug feels empty, lacking the warmth of true connection. But a genuine hug is different. It is filled with presence, with intentionality. It reassures, it strengthens, and it leaves a lasting imprint on the soul. Some people remember certain hugs for a lifetime because they were filled with meaning, even when no words were exchanged. To truly understand what a hug means, one must look beyond the physical act. It is not just about the arms that wrap around you, but about the spirit behind them. It is not about the gesture alone, but about the heart from which it comes. A man's hug is a reflection of who he truly is. It speaks volumes about his character, his values, and his intentions. A man cannot hide behind his words when his actions tell the truth. The way he embraces someone reveals the depth of his heart, his level of emotional maturity, and how he views the person in his arms. A man of honor hugs with respect. His embrace is never forceful, never intrusive, but rather a gesture of warmth and sincerity. He understands that physical touch carries weight, and he does not use it carelessly. When he hugs, it is with purpose, whether to comfort, protect, or simply express appreciation. There is no confusion in his touch because his character is built on integrity. On the other hand, a man with selfish motives uses a hug as a tool. He may embrace someone not out of genuine affection, but as a means to an end. His touch may feel empty, lacking the substance of sincerity. Some men use physical closeness to gain trust, to manipulate emotions, or to create an illusion of connection. A wise woman can sense the difference between a hug that is filled with meaning and one that is merely a performance. A man's hug can also reveal his level of emotional intelligence. Some men are incapable of offering an embrace that provides comfort because they have not cultivated emotional depth within themselves. They may offer a distant, half-hearted hug that lacks presence, or they may avoid embracing altogether because vulnerability makes them uncomfortable. But a man who has learned to lead with love, who understands the power of genuine affection, will embrace with confidence, kindness, and reassurance. His hug will leave no doubt about the kind of man he is. A hug is often more revealing than spoken words. It carries emotion, intention, and energy that cannot be easily disguised. When a man embraces you, his true feelings are embedded in that moment, whether he is aware of it or not. Some men struggle to express their emotions verbally, but their embrace betrays what their words fail to communicate. A hug given out of love feels different from one given out of obligation. There is a depth, a sense of presence, a certain warmth that cannot be imitated. When a man truly cares, his hug is firm yet gentle, reassuring yet protective. It lingers just long enough to make you feel valued without crossing into discomfort. His arms wrap around you with intention, not just out of habit. His embrace speaks the words he may never say out loud. I see you, I appreciate you, I care for you. If a man is distant in his heart, his hug will reflect that distance. It may be quick, lacking in warmth, or feel like a mere formality. There will be no security in his hold, no depth in his touch, because his heart is not fully present in the moment. Even if he tries to mask his emotions, the absence of connection will be felt. There are also times when a man hugs not just to show affection, but to seek comfort himself. His embrace may be tighter, longer, filled with a silent plea for reassurance. It may be his way of saying, I need you, without admitting vulnerability. The sincerity of a man's heart is often revealed in the way he holds you. His arms may never speak a word, but they will always tell the truth. A hug is not just about the act itself, but about how it is given. The duration and manner of an embrace reveal more than words ever could. A man's hug can either feel like a fleeting moment or a lasting memory, depending on the intention behind it. A short, distant hug may indicate politeness, obligation, or even emotional detachment. It is the kind of hug given when there is no real desire to connect, no depth of feeling, just an automatic response to a situation. A longer, more intentional hug, however, carries weight. When a man holds you just a little longer than expected, when his embrace lingers, even after words have faded, it often signals something deeper. There is an unspoken message in that moment, a silent reassurance, a desire to be present with you. It is not about the length of time alone, but the sincerity behind it. A man who cares will not rush to let go. His embrace will feel steady, certain, and meaningful. The manner of the hug also matters. A gentle but firm embrace conveys protection and respect, while a hesitant or loose hug may indicate uncertainty or discomfort. A man who holds you closely, with both arms securely around you, communicates a sense of safety and care. If he barely touches you, offering only a one-armed embrace or a brief pat on the back, it may reflect emotional distance or reluctance. Some hugs are filled with affection, while others carry hesitation. Some bring warmth, while others leave confusion. A man's true feelings can often be felt in the way he hugs, whether he pulls you closer or keeps you at a distance, whether he embraces you fully or merely brushes against you. Every detail tells a story, and only those who pay attention will truly understand it. Not every hug is what it seems. A hug can be filled with sincerity, or it can be nothing more than a well-rehearsed gesture. Some men hug to express care, while others do it to create an illusion of connection. The challenge is knowing the difference. A genuine hug carries warmth, depth, and authenticity. It makes you feel safe, valued, and understood. It comes from a place of truth, not pretense. But an insincere hug lacks the soul of real affection. It may look the same on the surface, but it feels empty. leaving you with more questions than. Some men use hugs as a tool rather than a heartfelt expression. They hug not because they feel deeply for you, but because they know that physical closeness can create an emotional response. They hug to gain trust, to manipulate emotions, or to keep you attached without offering real commitment. A hug from such a man may be strong and lingering, but it lacks true meaning. It may stir emotions for a moment, but in the end, it serves his benefit rather than yours. There are also hugs that come from obligation rather than desire. A man may embrace you because it is expected, because the moment calls for it, or because he does not want to appear distant. These hugs are mechanical, lacking real engagement. They feel like a routine, not an expression of the heart. A true hug leaves an imprint on the soul, while a false one fades as soon as it happens. A wise woman does not mistake a simple embrace for something deeper. She pays attention not just to the hug itself, but to the spirit behind it. The sincerity of a man's heart is never in the hug alone, but in the way it makes you feel long after he lets go. A hug carries a message that words often fail to express. It can be a silent promise, an unspoken commitment that lingers long after the embrace ends. When a man hugs you with sincerity, it is not just a moment of physical closeness. It is a declaration, a vow that he may not even realize he is making. His embrace can hold reassurance, security, and devotion. Without uttering a single word, his arms around you can whisper, "I will be here. I will protect you, for you matter to me." A man who hugs with intention understands the weight of his touch. His embrace is steady, firm, and present. It does not rush, it does not hesitate, and it does not leave room for doubt. In that moment, he is offering something deeper than just affection. He is offering trust, loyalty, and care. Whether it is romantic, protective, or deeply platonic, a genuine hug speaks of commitment in ways that mere words cannot. But just as a hug can be a promise, it can also be a deception. Men give hugs that feel like a silent vow, yet their actions do not align with the message their embrace conveys. They may hold on tightly, creating an illusion of safety, devotion, yet walk away without any real commitment. A hug can create an emotional bond, but a promise, whether spoken or silent, carries responsibility. A man who understands the depth of a hug will not offer it carelessly. He will not use it to stir emotions that he has no intention of honoring. A true hug is never just about the moment. It is about what it represents, the silent agreement between two souls that says, "This is real." Not every embrace is meant to be received, and not every moment calls for closeness. There is wisdom in knowing when to welcome a hug and when to step back. A hug is an exchange of energy, a bridge between two souls. And not every connection deserves that level of intimacy. Just because a man offers an embrace does not mean it should be accepted without discernment. Some hugs bring warmth and reassurance, while others create confusion and misplaced attachment. A woman with wisdom understands that a hug is not just a simple act, but a transaction of emotion. She knows that accepting the wrong embrace can lead to emotional entanglement that was never meant to be. Some men hug not out of sincerity, but to create a false sense of closeness. They use physical gestures to build trust without proving themselves through actions. A discerning woman does not mistake every touch for care, nor does she allow herself to be drawn into an embrace that carries hidden intentions. There are also times when stepping back is an act of self-preservation. When a man has not proven his intentions, when his words and actions do not align, or when his embrace feels more like manipulation than genuine care, distance becomes necessary. A hug should never be received out of obligation, guilt, or pressure. True connection cannot be forced. It must be earned. At the same time, there are moments when an embrace is exactly what is needed. A genuine hug from the right person can bring healing, reassurance, and strength. It can be a source of comfort in a time of uncertainty. The key is knowing the difference: when to receive, when to give, and when to walk away. The wisdom to choose rightly is what protects the heart. A hug is never just a hug. It is a reflection of intention, character, and emotion. It can reveal the truth a man will never say, expose the sincerity or emptiness of his heart, and either build trust or create illusion. Every embrace carries meaning, whether genuine or deceptive, comforting or confusing. The key is discernment. Never mistake physical closeness for emotional depth. A man's hug may feel strong, but strength without sincerity is manipulation. His embrace may linger, but time means nothing if his actions contradict his touch. A true hug does not just feel good in the moment. It leaves behind peace, security, and clarity. It aligns with his words, his actions, and his commitment. Do not let temporary warmth blind you to lasting truth. Pay attention to what the hug conveys beyond the surface. A man who truly values you will embrace you with honor, not with hidden intentions. He will not use his arms to create an illusion, but to affirm what is already evident in his actions. The heart must be protected, and not every hug is worthy of being received. Know when to accept, when to give, and when to step back, because the right embrace will never leave you questioning. It will only confirm what was already true